Hey guys and gals, welcome. It's great to be back today. Not doing some sort of technical shit like washing yeast or even making beer. Well, it's great to do those things and I love it. Sometimes it's great to just have a beer because that means I don't have any equipment to clean after I'm done having a beer. Okay, so we have a treat today that I want to talk about. You know those times in life when something really good ends and you know you'll never get that thing back, but then you do somehow? The Kama Citra IPA. It was gone. I didn't have any left. One of my buddies, I happened to be talking to him yesterday, and he mentioned that he still had one of these beers left. And I said, do you want it? I mean, if you still have it, you're probably not in a hurry to drink it, right? And he said, oh, you can have it if you want it. I thought I would not have this beer again. I thought I might make it again, possibly. But this batch was gone. And now it's back. Cheers. Oh, you know, it's everything I love about an IPA. You know, yeah, I've made IPAs that I like more than this one. But the thing about this one, I only really make the ones I really enjoy drinking, and there's a lot of IPAs out there. In fact, I prefer mine, all of the IPAs I've ever made, over probably like 75% of IPAs I've had at a bar or bought in a liquor store or even at a brewery. I just enjoy the shit out of the beers I choose to make. And not because I made them, but I tend to choose the ones that I think will probably be like what I want, hops wise. Anyway, it's great to be back. It's great to be back here drinking a beer. It's great to not really have a lot of shit to do. You know, I had planned on making a steak marinade earlier today. The recipe I got from an old friend. Well, that was my plan today. I was like, I'm going to get up, I'm going to make this marinade. Well, in about 15 minutes, I had this marinade done. I was like, now what do I do? So here I am. I want to talk about other stuff today that was gone, and I would never get it back, but I got it back. I have 5 things because I love making lists, you know. Find me on BuzzFeed. I'm not on BuzzFeed yet. But my number 5, my grandma's carpet. Okay. She had this old shag carpet in her house back in the day. And my mom and dad, me, my 2 brothers, we basically lived with my grandma and grandpa on and off, you know, not because we didn't have a house, but because we liked to stay in there, I guess. And she would keep me during the day and my brothers while my parents were at work. And she had this old shag carpet that would just, you know, when you're a toddler, you're laying on it, you're playing on it, you're doing everything. And just, we had a lot of people around in those days. They always had friends in to visit. My mom's sisters still lived at the house. It was just the biggest, like, it was a community. And that shag carpet, in my mind, just brings back so many memories. Well, when my grandpa died, she got rid of all the shag carpet. And I was at her house. It's probably been gone for a good 20 years now. I was at her house and decided to go down into the basement for old time's sake. Granted, this was before the coronavirus, okay, so I haven't been over at my grandma's house lately. But I opened the basement door to go down there where we used to play all the time. That shag carpet is still on the basement steps. Okay, I really don't have anything else to say about that. But man, talk about a time and a place that I thought was gone. And while that time and the place is kind of gone, there's physical proof that it was. And that meant a lot to me when I saw it. Okay, number 4, Arrested Development, and also Ocean's 13. I knew they were done making Arrested Development. And when that 4th season came out, more? I couldn't believe it. The same thing with Ocean's 13. My friend and I were huge fans of Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12. Would watch them over and over and over. I knew they weren't making an Ocean's 13. Ocean's 13. Going into that theater that night, it was like getting old friends back, you know, like, and the same thing for Arrested Development. It's just great. Number 3, baseball. You know, baseball was my favorite sport to play as a kid. And it was probably the sport that I was the most talented at. When my baseball career ended, you're not getting that back, you know? I went to college and there was an intramural softball league and all the games happened at nighttime. And like most of the student body, it seemed like, would attend these games. Being out on that diamond, under the lights, in a tournament style, games that actually mattered, or you felt like they mattered, fans, holy shit. I was standing at shortstop and I was thinking to myself, I got it back. Blessings on blessings on blessings. And now, even though I haven't played softball in even quite a while, I know that I can jump in a baseball or a softball league around here and get it back. Good old competition and good competition and speechless once again. Number 2, I had an unofficial roommate while I was attending college. My best friend, his name is Drew. Well, after our first year there, he left to go to Oklahoma State. Okay? So my roommate was gone. We spent like all of the time together while we lived there. We'd do everything together. We'd go to movies, we'd go to Hastings, take all our movies back and get new ones, rent movies. Movies were a big part of our friendship. Write movies. We did a lot of stuff. I'd go stay at his house, he'd stay in my dorm room. We were just together all the time. He leaves. End of an era, right? He gives me a call after the first semester of our sophomore year and says, hey, I'm coming back. Class was starting for the semester. I was getting ready to go back to my dorm room from my parents' house. He says, you going back tonight? I'll meet you there. And I remember we went and bought like grape cigars and went and smoked them at an old park or something like that. But the important part is, like, it was over. Like, those days are gone. I'll always look back on those days. And we got another shot. Crazy. Number 1. This beer. Cheers, guys. Hope you have a homebrew with you today. If not, I always say a store-bought beer will work just fine. Have a beer with me. Come on. Have a beer with me. As my friend Cody would say, Uno Mas. I've invoked Uno Mas. And I guess that meant I had to have another beer with him, because I always did. Okay? So get a beer. Okay? If you don't have a beer, go get you a beer. If it's 9 in the morning, barley, a bad breakfast, a bad breakfast does not barley make. Cheers, guys. Number 1, okay? I was in the Air Force. One of my brothers was living in a house with his whole band. My other brother was still in college, pursuing a degree in aviation management. We were all on 3 completely separate paths. I grew up so close with my brothers. All I wanted to do was live with my brothers again. I would sit there and dream about, man, what if we all got a house together? But I knew, like, you know, you graduate, you move out. I'm in the Air Force now. Not gonna happen. Okay. So I get out of the Air Force. We all still are going our separate ways. A few years later down the road, I'm living in Portland. One of my youngest brother is still living, you know, back here in Oklahoma. My other brother lives in Dallas with his girlfriend, fiance. We knew they were going to get married. Well, my youngest brother says, I want to come to Portland. Okay. He moves out. We're sharing our little loft, you know, up there in Portland on the corner of Broadway and Columbia, where the fire trucks dance. My other brother's still in Dallas. There's a whole lot going on during this time. We end up going to LA, my younger brother and I. We come back home right as my brother breaks up with his girlfriend in Dallas, has nowhere else to go during that time, and winds up back at my parents' house. We all 3 live with my parents again. That was not ideal. We decided to move out, you know, get our own apartment, you know, get back on our feet. This was years ago already. Like, looking back, I'm sitting in a position now where I know I'll never get that back. Not that I want to. I mean, great times. I'm happy I had those times. But we get our own apartment. And once again, I'm looking around and I'm like, you suckers? I'm living with you again? I love my brothers. And it was a great time in my life. I was going to school, you know, with the GI Bill money I had from the Air Force. Not a lot of stressors. And it was just great. And that reminds me, if you've never seen like Hiking with Kevin, or Kevin Nealon has this show on YouTube where he walks with comedians and all sorts of rabble, you know. He had Adam Sandler on one day, and Adam Sandler was talking about his time at SNL. And he said, you know, the greatest time about those times, the greatest thing about those times? He said, we had no stress other than work stress. And you can only imagine an entity or a corporation like Adam Sandler these days. You can only imagine what the guy has on his mind. But then take it back to when he was an actor, writer at SNL in his, early 20s, maybe even late teens, I don't know. You want to perform well. Of course, there's the work stress. But the stresses you can't even imagine as a kid, when that is like the only thing you've got on your plate. That was those days to me. And I was with both of my brothers after having thought that would never ever happen again. And, you know, these things might seem like small things from the outside, but this list, these 5, these were the loves of my life, and they were gone. And then I got a second shot at reliving in that thing and loving it. Just like this beer that I thought I would never, ever, ever see again. And I guess the reminder, yeah, we need to enjoy these, like, great things in our lives while we have them. But if you get a second shot to live and love the things that have gone, take advantage of it. Sit in it. And just, you know, there's not much more to enjoying a beer than just drinking it and being thankful for it. I'm thankful for this beer. And I know y'all have got plenty of things to be thankful for also. So cheers, everyone. I'll see you back here real soon. I've got a lot going on right now. The mango IPA I just dry hopped today or yesterday. It's in the fermenter. I'm going to bottle it here in about a week and a half. I've got the log beer to bottle next week. I've got a keg that just came in, but I've got other plans for it. I've got a cream ale coming up. I'll be back next week to talk about my plans for the cream ale. And there will be a big brew day coming up here real soon. And then we'll talk about all the future plans. But for now, just wanted to say, hey, what's up? Checking in. Guys, thanks for watching. And as always, I'll see you real soon. Cheers.